It's the weekend. It's Mailbag. I am joined on this Everton free weekend by Warren and Sam. We'll get straight into it as usual because we've got loads of questions, some absolute belts coming up as well. But we'll start with the hot topic. What's the worst job you've ever had, Warren? I'll save yours, Sam, because it looks like it's going to be good already, Warren.
Sam already had the grimace on the face that I think is going to lead us to the better answer. Worst job? Oh, I told this story before on Mailbag. I don't know what the hot topic is, by the way.
Oh, um, yeah, it's very tenuous. I was trying to think of something last night. It's basically Keir Starmer's got the worst job he's ever had,
Oh,
hasn't he?
well,
He's like,
just yeah,
he's not, you know, expectations were low. But Christ, he's ballsing it up even more. So
yeah,
I imagine that's the worst job he's ever had because he's
Oh,
had
I,
some
I
pretty
feel
lucrative gigs.
worse for Lee Carsley than I do for Keir Starmer, though.
yeah. But I actually like Lee Carsley.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like I really do quite like Lee Carsley. I do feel
um,
rotten for him, poor thing.
I still say get him in an Everton. Let's do
Why
it.
not? Why
Yeah.
not?
But
Give him an opportunity, eh? Worst job I've ever had. I've told this story before, but I used to be a forklift truck cold calling salesman.
Oh yeah.
And it was the summer after. And do you know what? I say it was the worst job. The fella who owned the company, he was one of my best mates at school. It was his dad, and he gave us jobs for the summer, so I can't complain really. But it involved me having to drive around multiple industrial sites, knocking on doors or going into office receptions and saying, "Would you like a forklift truck?" And of course, they could spot me a mile off, an 18-year-old in a suit. As first, I look like, what's his name? What's the boxer, David Price? I look like David Price
Was
in
it
a
your
suit.
suit or your dad's?
It was a suit far too big for me, and
your one
yeah,
suit that you use
yeah,
for
the one
job
suit
interviews, weddings, funerals.
when
I'm still like
when you
that. That's all I've got one.
yeah when you
Serious?
Yeah.
when you first turn 18, you've got that one suit, yeah, and barely any facial hair, looked dead young, and I just I thought my job entailed just going in and giving them a leaflet. I didn't realize I actually had to sell and try and make the company money. So that was awful, and I did it in the summer as well. So this particular summer when I left sixth form, it was roasting. It was like one of them where it was 30 degrees every day, and but what am I doing? I could be doing something more funny than doing this. So, yeah, that is undoubtedly the worst job I think. I've had a really dodgy jobs. I'm very lucky now. I do something I love, but I've had really dodgy jobs down the years. And yeah, they say don't you get a job you love and you never work a day in your life. So that's what I've tried to do.
I think even on paper, forklift truck salesman sounds pretty tough. It's a tough gig.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really big ticket item, isn't it? That's the problem. Like, if you were selling something, if you're selling something sort of tokeny, they would probably have bought something off you just because they felt sorry for you.
Mm.
No one's sympathy buying a forklift.
Getting that through accounts. Well, do you know
Yeah,
what? He looked like he needed to sell, so I've just bought a forklift truck. Hope you don't mind.
yeah. Luckily, I wasn't on commission because if I had been, I would have been in debt. So it was all right in the end.
What's yours, Sam?
Oh, I was thinking about this earlier. It probably isn't actually my worst job. The job I hated doing was um the Strand branch of Holland and Barrett. That was that was really
What? In
the
Holland?
the Bootle Strand,
Oh,
the
God.
Holland and Barrett
Oh, okay.
shop. That was awful. But that was because I hate retail, really. What I think the one that people relate to is I used to do like inventory cleans of student houses, the end of term before they went home for summer.
Yeah.
So however bad it was, I had to get it back to the point where they get the deposit back from the landlord.
Oh,
And like every single room's made into a bedroom, and they're not meant to be in the not damp course. So every room is like piss wet with damp. Um, I seriously, if I'd thought about it, the money I could have made just on scrap metal from the discarded nitrous canisters, like you'd lift up a sofa and just there'd be a sea of them pouring out. And present company accepted lads, but it did tend to be the boys' bathrooms that were a bit.
oh,
I can
lads
imagine.
are horrible. Lads and
Yeah.
caddies are horrible. Fully
Um,
accept that.
oh God, there was one floor in a student house in Fallowfield, and um it was just two boys sharing this bathroom on one floor, and all year they just hadn't used a bin. They'd just thrown everything on the floor. So, like, there was this, you were like shin deep in discarded toilet rolls and bottles of shampoo and stuff.
That's mad. How could
Yeah,
anyone live like that?
I mean, who knows whether they tried to stay on top of it for a few weeks and just once it started to spill out, they just decided there was no point trying anymore. But strangely enough, that was actually it. It looks really impressive when actually all you've done is put a load of bleach around everywhere and scraped everything into bin bags. So when they came in, they were like, I can't believe what you've done in there.
You're still floating off the Sillet Bang fumes, but you're like, yeah, this is great.
Oh God, that was the thing. You are spaced by the end of it because the amount of bleach you need in a student house
Yeah.
is it's just that they were growing new antibiotics, frankly, on every surface. It was really, really bleak. And you forget what landlords are happy to let students live in.
But I tell you what though, like trying to get money back off a landlord, that is a noble cause and sounds like a bit of an impossible job. But so yeah, fair play to that. Like,
Well, they give me like I mean it's cash in hand as well, isn't it? So
always a winner.
yeah. They would give me what the landlord had given them to tell them to do cleaning wise. And I would just do it. But so much of it is just bleaching stuff and scraping stuff into bin bags.
More power to
So
you.
yeah.
Yeah, I was not expecting that, I've got to say. Didn't even know that was a thing. But Chris said there's nobody gonna say retrieving lobsters from Jane Mansfield's bum. We used to be a country. So this is off Dudley Moore and Peter Cook, isn't it?
It is. It
Sketch.
is.
So I was looking through a few again last night, and they do one on one of them's collects Winston Churchill's phlegm in a bottle. It's so funny, but it's honestly, I reckon if they did it now, you would have people like protecting the statue overnight. It doesn't pull back on Winston Churchill at all. Very funny though. Gary said his last job before this one, he worked with a copwriter team leader. Copwrite loved the rap. He was a tit to work for, and his missus worked the Chester races for extra money. Did a day at Bangor, and then worked at a Christmas party in Chester in the evening for a firm from Wrexham, and they were feral. God, letting people from Wrexham loose in Chester, I've seen that. It's not good.
Oh, that's a massive rivalry that people don't appreciate,
It's
isn't it?
not good at all. Yeah.
Oh, half football grounds in Wales and half in England, isn't it?
I think Chester's, isn't it? Yeah.
Chester's, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's one end or something's in Wales, isn't it?
But I'm low
Mad.
key on the Wrexham lads' side in that, in that dynamic. I'm not on the side of the Chester lads, really.
Yeah. No, and I went to uni in Chester, and yeah, it's the pontiest place I've ever been to. Really, it's very mixed up as well because like they don't really know where they're from. So like they're probably too far away from Liverpool to get away with that, and like they're like really close to Wales, but they're English. So
the accent absolutely
it's a
wrecks
really
me from
weird thing.
Chester.
Yeah, and they sort of don't know what they are. I mean, it's a nice city, but it's a really small city as well. So it's like they're not sure. There's a bit of an identity problem, I think. If anyone's
My
listening to
favourite
Chester, by the
thing,
way, don't like. It's nothing
Some good
personal.
boozers.
That's just what I
Good
found.
boozers in Chester. Yeah, I like it. It's good boozers.
It is a sound
Good
little
place.
city.
Yeah.
they used to have, I don't know if they did when you were there, Les, they had a Spudgy like set in Roman ruins.
Remember that? I must have missed it.
I've
got all day for that, like.
Yeah. Like my partner just texted me one day. He'd taken a client to Chester, and he was like, "We're in a Spudgy like, and and he texted me a picture of the Roman ruins, and I'm like, that is incredible. That's my ideal restaurant in many ways."
And you do get the obligatory fella knocking about dressed as a Roman centurion. That happens quite a bit. Stephen said, being a laundry porter in a hospital picking up the red, highly contaminated bags was not pleasant. That's not the one. Mine kind of pales into sort of insignificance in the back of all this. I just worked the summer of nights in Safeway supermarkets in West Kirby. to pay for a Vauxhall Corsa. So
No,
basically,
that
went
that
out and
sounds
bought a car,
horrible.
didn't have the money for it, and had to work all summer to pay it.
It
The
sounds
rewards
absolutely
was worth the
horrific.
effort.
Yeah, it was. Do you know what the people were all right if a little bit odd as night workers tend to be, but it's exhausting. You just wake up, go to work, get home, go to sleep. There's no like free time. You get like 3 days off, but that's just acclimatizing yourself to being normal again, and then you start all over again.
Is it consecutive days though?
And yeah, it was. So it was
Oh, it
4
was.
3 off, which wasn't bad, but yeah, I wouldn't fancy doing that again.
My sister, when she was at Mackey's, used to do the shift she did was five, 5 in the evening till 2 in the morning, and she had split days off. So,
Oh, it's horrible.
and it's just absolutely horrific.
That is
She's the
brutal.
only like person who went into, the workplace after college, and she was like, "It's a piece of piss, this," compared to
Yeah.
compared to Walton Road Mackey's.
Oh God, I can't even imagine how slow that shift would go. 5 in the evening, I thought 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's a long
And
time,
and
isn't it?
you never get your sleeping pattern back because you never get 2 days off together.
Yeah, that's grim.
Mm.
See, could always be worse. Foxy, post match on the England v Greece game. Thanks. So England played Greece last night, apparently.
I,
Who knew?
I got him. I know. Well, we were in the little tweet
Yeah.
chain, weren't we? The three of us about it. Do you know what the thing was? You see them tweets, and you know people do it to be funny. I genuinely had no
I
idea.
didn't.
No.
I really never.
I
And
knew it was
I'm not
international
like,
weekend, but I knew it. I had no idea that game was last
yeah,
night
I'm not
until I
massively
saw.
England averse either.
Mm.
But
No.
genuinely didn't have a clue.
I mean, I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm enthusiastic, but I don't avoid them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew there was one on Sunday because my mate said I'll come over and watch the football. So I knew about Finland, but no, I had no idea we were playing Greece.
Where was I? I think it was on. Yeah, I was in Luton with work yesterday, so I was on my way back from that when the first half was on. And honestly, going by Twitter, you would have thought like Pickford had killed a child and thrown 3 in the first half by the reactions of people for that
Well,
one.
I've
It was,
said,
it was
haven't I?
stupid. It was a
I
brain
just,
fart, but
I've lost interest in the whole Pickford goalkeeper argument for England now. Like, I know he hasn't had a great start this season, but look, as long as he's playing well for us, I don't care. I don't care what happens.
I
Do you know
want
what I
him to
mean?
look shit for England. I don't want
Yeah,
anyone to know.
yeah.
yeah.
What I did notice was this is the last we'll say, and I'll move on to another question. Remember, was it last season or the season before? One of those horrible seasons, anyway, where he'd do that thing where he'd walk right out of his goal and try and be the playmaker. He's kind of reined it in a bit now, but he used to walk like between the halfway line and the area and like demand the ball. He was doing that again,
Yeah,
so we can knock that off.
yeah.
Not having that.
I mean, he has got.
Dyche won't have that woke nonsense.
No, what's the nonsense, that isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, like from the neutral's perspective, he does have to have that Rick in him just to keep it interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
You
so.
know, I do. Oh, I've got this. It's why I like John Stones as well. Still enjoy watching John Stones. A cracking player, massive Rick in him.
Yeah,
It's really enjoyable.
yeah, I'm with you on that. It's always better when they're not playing for you, isn't it? You can enjoy them.
Mm. He can
John,
do his bloody Cruyff turns for City, and I'll watch that.
yeah, I'm still not quite over that. What was that? Got to be getting on for 10 years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah,
long
roughly,
time
yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
The park end never forgets. John, why do Evertonians have this bizarre need slash desperation for former Blues to come back? The latest being Lee Carsley, who apparently is the latest shiny thing wanted to replace Dyche. I'm all in on Lee Carsley. I'm not really sure why, because he's done a decent job at England under 21, I think. And
It's just something fresh in it, something new. If he was to come, I wouldn't be adverse to it. But the thing about wanting players back, we are bad for it. There are, every time. I mean, I made a comment on one of the shows about Lukaku. Everyone always wants Lukaku back, and I wouldn't want to see that fella ever again. Not that he wasn't great, and he still probably wouldn't be that bad for us, but I think there's got to be a point where you've got to start looking forward again. Although saying that, if we had Richarlison back in January, I'd be all over that as well. But no,
yeah,
I think you have got to get to a point where you go, look, we haven't reached any heights before. We probably need to look elsewhere now. But we do. We seem to tie very quickly and emotionally, don't we, to people and players, and want that emotional connection back. I don't know. We're very much like that as a fan base.
yeah,
The
just not.
number of like um just former players who clearly got nothing in particular to do, who just mill about the fan zone. Is so sweet.
Yeah, you can always get a gig there as an ex-player, can't you?
Mm.
Just on Carsley, would that be the one type of manager we've not tried in the last 6, 7 years? A former player. Have we had a
Um,
football player as manager in the last 6 years? I think it's the only one we've not done, you know.
well, this is a great question. Was it Howard Kendall, the last manager? He was a former
Oh, Howard Kendall, yeah.
Howard Kendall
1998.
Mark III, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Was that the last former player we've had as manager, other than caretakers, obviously?
yeah, must be, mustn't it? Yeah. Obviously, yeah, there's
Last
only Brendan
former
Ferguson,
permanent.
but
Let's do it. Why
yeah.
not?
And we've only ever won anything with ex-players as managers, haven't we?
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for the Kale and Carsley ticket.
Yeah, let's do it. Get
Yeah,
Gravison back in some capacity as well. Just
yeah.
because.
Vibesman.
Yeah, yeah, vibes, man. Comes out 5 minutes before kickoff and just bangs his chest at every stand. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's doing sort of getting players up for it just purely by getting them in headlocks.
Well, we paid an honor 80 grand a week, didn't we, to be a cheerleader? We might as well have Tommy Grav doing it.
you'll have people going. I agree, but you'll have people going at you for that. Still don't see it. You know, I still do
No,
not
I
see it.
don't. I don't.
Monster class behave. Um, Ben, what's the first thing you'd watch on the big screen in the new stadium? I saw a couple of shouts. Maggie was one of them to say Mario Kart 64 4 player.
Oh, great shout.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
incredible, wouldn't it?
That'd be the next thing, wouldn't it, to do? Like go to a stadium where there's a big, massive scoreboard and hook up your console and whatever, and just have a
Mm.
massive like game with your mates.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
That'd be the one. I don't know.
I did work somewhere that had a big screen in the conference centre, and I was working one Saturday, and no one's ever in on a Saturday, but someone had to be in, just keep the building open. And there was some FA Cup football on, and I ended up just going in there and whacking that on. And that was pretty
Yeah.
impressive, just sitting in a conference room with a big PA system. And I wasn't bothered about the game, but it was the principle of having done it on work time.
Yeah, anything you do in work time that's not work is always a win. Have you seen those things in America where it looks like you're in the ground? That's mind blowing. That
Yeah, the
the
one in
big
Vegas.
screen.
Is it Vegas where or somewhere like that, isn't it? Where you're in they've done it for Old Trafford, haven't they?
Yeah,
Where it
Yeah.
looks like you're in Old Trafford. Yeah. That I suppose if you're an international fan, that's the next thing now, isn't it? But they wanted to bring in the VR things. They
Mm.
wanted to bring it in where you're in the stadium with your VR. Well, you're not in the stadium, but you're at home with the VR, but you're here as if you're
Yeah.
at the stadium and you can sit next to your mate who's wherever with his VR mask on. That's the future, in
Are
it. We're
these,
heading that way, aren't
you
we?
reckon these are real stadium sounds though, or just generic? Because you'd know
Oh,
if you were in Goodison, wouldn't you?
What
yeah,
like
there'll
this like
be like
the
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 COVID
COVID
ones. Yeah.
cheers, yeah,
Yeah.
where you press the button.
What
Yeah.
really bothered me about that sort of bar and viewing platform in LA, where it's sort of in the stadium, is you're in shit seats right up by the corner flag.
Yeah.
You are as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Stick them on the halfway line, yeah.
exactly, the halfway line, top tier. But like half of that match, you won't see it. Like,
That's the selling point though, innit? Maybe to replicate what it'd be like in the ground. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Put
like
them on the best
sticking to one of the
seats.
front row of the paddock. All you
Yeah.
see the top half of all the players. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the true experience. Do you know what? Just going back to I saw this tweet as we started recording. Some Mark, his name is on Twitter. He's put in response to Everton today, Everton Stadium putting out. I don't know if you've seen this photographs of the testing the scoreboards or the
Yeah.
big screen, and he's put, "We demand stickman number one, stickman kicking ball into the net and it
Oh,
going
yes.
flashing up goal." Ref telling player off and player crying when opposition gets booked. And then the come on you blues with
Rubbing the hands together.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on you. And then the last one he's put the bye for when someone gets sent off.
yes,
Bring back the old school LED electric, whatever it is, scoreboard on the big screen. That's what we want.
I'm
Yeah.
fully into that. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Or maybe update it with some like 16-bit graphics or something as well. That'd be nice.
I'm
Sensible
all for the old
type
one.
stuff. Yeah.
Was it you who was saying, Les, did Chamir have got that now? the old scoreboard.
They did have, yeah, that's where it went, the old
Yeah,
scoreboard. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
literally
that's
the old
Yeah,
scoreboard.
they literally
yeah.
went to Sammy. Yeah, it was like hand me down. So
Look, it's no coincidence we've been no good since that scoreboard's gone.
true story. Yeah,
Yeah.
get that one back.
Who got the
Yeah,
Littlewoods clock?
Oh God, yeah, I wonder where that is.
yeah,
Somebody must have got that.
Yeah,
that's a piece of history right there, isn't it? Whoever's got that.
just on that scoreboard thing as well, testing it today. One of the lads who used to play for my footy team is like he's on it. He's on the test. So he's been on quite a few of the videos. He's at the front. He's sitting at the front of the Gladys, and he just like pumps his fist with his mate next
Oh,
to him.
remember the pictures you mean? Yeah.
And yeah, it's so good because it's like I was watching it today that turned into whole Leonardo DiCaprio me and just pointed like, uh,
Mhm.
yeah, that was funny to see him though. What would you watch then if you could watch anything on the big screen? Are we just saying with video game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, like I don't know, like maybe the cricket or something, and just go to your mates. But like some sort of sport. I'd have to do.
Yeah.
I know that's boring. I'd have to do some sort of sport, me, and just kick back, watch
It's
it.
the only thing that is better on a big screen. And I noticed that when I'm streaming a match on my laptop, I'm like, oh no, for the sport, especially cricket and football, you do
Yeah,
actually need it to be quite big.
mm.
Yeah.
That's I don't even, I mean, I've watched loads of obviously last time I was on, I was watching Terminator 2 in the cinema, wasn't I?
Oh, was that the first time you've seen it as well?
First time I'd seen it,
What
yeah.
did you
And
think? Because I was on here last time, and I couldn't believe that you hadn't seen it.
I know. And the previous, like last year, he took me to see the first Terminator in the cinema as well. So I've only
Mm.
seen them both once and
Belted
both
in
in the
it.
cinema.
Terminator 2.
Yeah, it was
Did you
cracking.
like it?
Yeah, I really
Let's
did. I
let's
preferred it to the first one actually.
Yeah, it's better than the
Yeah,
first. Let's
yeah.
say T2 then. Terminator 2 on the big
Oh
screen. There we
yeah.
go. Yeah.
That bit where he comes out to the checkered floor where you can see the effects people are just like
Yeah.
showing off. There's no need for that floor to be checkered, but they were definitely like, get
Yeah.
on this. And then he rises off the checkered floor.
I'll tell you
Amazing.
the only thing that looks dated in the special effects are amazing for the time.
Mm.
The only thing that looks dated is his knife arms. He's just
Oh
got
yeah.
these really massive blunt knife arms that those I was like, oh yeah, I'd forgotten what year this was. But fair dues.
Tangled Up in Blues has asked, why are we so bad at creating good chants slash songs for players for a city of humour and wit? Why not come up with some crackers here, which admittedly said might not be the best? Why not Illiman and die to the tune of a Bond theme, Live and Let Die? Even got a
That
part against
works.
friendly da 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 in it. Or Dominic Calvert-Lewin to Seven Nation Army. Now I've got a theory on this, but anyone else?
Well, do
I
you know
think we peaked and we can't go back.
Oh,
what?
go on.
The best chance we've done, I'd say, in the last 10 years is the John Stones one.
Money
When
can't buy
Money
money
Can't Buy
can't
You
buy you
Stones. That
stones.
was
That
the
was
best one
brilliant.
because it worked. But the trouble with chance now, you make up a good one. Within half an hour, it's on one of them stupid away day fans accounts,
Mm.
and then the whole country copies it, and it loses its fun and its humor, um, unless it's really specific. But I don't think we've done a good one since the John Stones
I
one.
I think we peaked at Leighton Baines, Carly Simon.
Yeah,
Oh,
true.
Leighton
Yeah,
Baines.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Or
I
Tom
remember
Davis Wham as well. Tom
yeah,
Davis to Edge
yeah.
of Heaven. Incredible.
I
You've got to be
remember someone saying that they'd been to. Do you remember when Sylvan Distan? I think it was Liz on Twitter. Do you remember when Sylvan Distan got caught pretending to be a milkman when he was
Yeah.
shagging someone else? And she said she went to a pre-season friendly and they were all singing, "He's up at R4, he's up at R4."
That
And
was
not only
Atkinson. I was there.
were you there, and
Yeah, he
she
was.
said the players were falling about as well.
The funny thing about that was at Atkinson, because it's so small. The dressing rooms are on a little tiny bit next to the away end, and because we've got probably like we had 30 or whatever during that in the squads or whatever, there's nowhere for them to go or sit, so they've got to stand basically outside watching it. So all the players are on the little raised area, and this stands there because obviously he's 6 foot whatever, isn't he? So
Mm.
and it'll come out, I think, just around that time as well. But We haven't had a good chant for a while. And the trouble is, we do this thing where we speed it up. It gets sped up. Like the Ross Barkley one, I thought was good at the time. We've got a diamond, but
Mm.
everyone sings it too fast and it loses its. Yeah, so it doesn't do anything.
I think another issue as well is not enough of them get sung in the actual game,
Yeah,
do they? They'll get sung
it's
before and after, and then
on the coaches. Do you know what? To be fair, on the coaches and on the trains, there's some belter ones being made up, but they just don't transfer to the stands.
Oh God, what was the one? Uh, God, there was one that I saw that I wasn't there for, but I saw someone singing it in a club afterwards, and it was Donny van der Beek to Mr. Saxo Beat,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that is objectively too fast to get a group of people to sing. So I was impressed, if nothing else.
Do you know what? Just dead quick before we move on, because I know we're running out a bit of time here. But when Sinead O'Connor died, the first message in one of the WhatsApp groups was just a lad voice note. Nothing compares, Yakubu.
Belter. Actually, when I was in work yesterday, they had like it was like the old days of Atlantic 252. There was about 5 songs on repeat,
Mm,
and one of them was that Onana song, "What's My Name," and the other one was the Nathan Patterson running up the right wing.
yeah,
I
yeah.
must have been on about 10 times yesterday, and I'm absolutely sick of them. That's
That's
a
a
good
good
one
one, the
though.
Patterson
Patterson
one,
one's
yeah.
a good one to Belter. Right, Stephen, it's your first day as the new owner. How do you endear yourself to the fans? Go ahead, Warren.
Um, how do you endear yourself? I think you probably transport the hot walk to a corner of the grounds. Um,
I want a Chong Hing concession as well
yeah,
from County
we
Road.
yeah, I want to go there because I was going to message you actually and say because I forgot the one you were on about, but I want to go there because you rave about that.
A good chippy.
Yeah, I need to go there. I don't know. We're very easy to please if you say the right things, aren't we? Like if you just come out and I mean, listen, let's say tomorrow I all of a sudden inherited 25 billion quid and I had the funds and the money to buy Everton and I came in and my first press conference was I've been an Evertonian since day one. I've got a season ticket in the Gladys Street. Like straight away, I'm on side, aren't I? And then you just pump a load of money into us, and you'd be all right. I think generally we'll be okay. I think if you're not a, not a maniac who just does his own thing, like what a certain current owner at the moment's done, then I think you get away with it really. Just as long as
Just,
you don't do anything. There'll be
just come,
criticism somewhere along the line. There always is, but
just come in and say it's
generally,
been fucking miserable, this hasn't it?
yeah.
There you go, straight away. I'm just like, oh god, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, just come in. Come on, Blues, these are shite.
Yeah, do that. Yeah.
I don't be December, won't it? So blue Christmas tree, the anti-Coman.
Oh
Remember
yeah,
when do you remember when Mike Ashley went into the away end and he's downed a pint in his black and white Newcastle shirt? Do you remember that?
yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah, do
Off the
that.
cringe
Why
on with
not?
him. Do you remember
Yeah,
Mike?
do
Do
something cringy.
you remember Michael Knighton at Man United doing keep ups on
Yeah.
the pitch, and
Well,
then he
I
didn't
wasn't.
buy the club, did he?
I was only a baby, but I've seen videos of it where he's in his full kit, wasn't he, as
Full
well,
kit with
doing
a
it?
tracky top,
Yeah.
doing keep ups on the pitch. Not enough gets said about his name either. He's called Michael Knighton, and it's never like mentioned. Um, okay, Mike, favorite ginger Everton player? It's Tommy Johnston, isn't it? I'd say it's Anthony
Talent,
Gordon after last week
talent ball.
on the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Or
that's actually
Pembridge was pretty good.
I was going to say Mark Pembridge, yeah.
Yeah. Do
this is a
you know what? I
much
saw this
better
question.
answer. Sorry,
I
go
just I
on.
saw this. I was just because I saw this question earlier, and I was thinking, I can't really. Did none spring to mind off the top of my head? That many gingers we've had.
Well, I was going to say, what's his face? I was going to say McCarthy, and now I'm second guessing myself as to
Oh
whether
no,
he's
he was.
ginger.
Yeah, he
No,
definitely was.
he was one of them. He was one of them who'd say he's strawberry blonde,
A
but
ginger denier.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
But specifically the McBarry season when he was playing in a two with Gareth
yeah,
Barry and he looked
incredible.
really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see that interview with Sean Dyche where he admitted he's not bald? He just shaves his head.
He's doing the Scott Brown thing, isn't he?
Yeah,
'Cause,
he's doing the Seinfeld swimmer thing.
yeah, when Scott Brown grew his hair,
He looked weird, didn't he?
it was like, oh, you voluntarily shaved your head because I thought, like everyone thought he was bald.
Well, but if he grew his hair now, everyone would assume he'd had a hair transplant.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you reckon it's really tight curls or something? That's why he shaves it.
I just reckon
He's got a
I
head like
reckon it's
Art
that
Garfunkel.
like a carpet. You know, when it grows, it's like
Oh
that
yeah.
sort. I reckon it'll
Yeah,
be like that.
yeah.
Not wavy or and you can put a comb through. It'll be really thick and carpet like.
Right, we'll do one more. We've got 4 minutes of this segment left. We're back on Zoom. It's been a while. Maggie has asked, as she is doing the sleep out tonight. Good luck to anyone doing the sleep out.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it's going to be too cold, so that's all right. How many malignant spirits are there in the park end aside from just their self? There's just the ghosts of a million disappointments, isn't there? Really?
I mean, you know, if ghosts were real, like we don't know if they are or not. Some people think they are, some people don't. But if you were a ghost, would you go back and sit in the park end?
No, I can think of better places to haunt, to be honest.
I like the resignation in the park end though. Like I went on my mate's ticket a while ago in the Gladys Street, and I just said, you know, I've got the energy for this. I I I just I need that. I need bringing down to earth if I'm watching Everton. I can't be doing with the having to put effort in.
Yeah, no chance. No, we just sit there and moan. It's not a bad way to watch the game, to be honest. And secondly, just before we go for this bit, how loud can a ghost boo? Pretty loud. That's like the thing, isn't it?
Well,
Not as loudly as we can.
No.
a park and ghosts. Park and ghosts, you got the worst one.
Right, we'll leave it there for this bit. Everyone should be guaranteed an advert at this point, so let me know what you get. Oh, I've missed this little segment, yeah. So
Yeah, we haven't done this since we haven't done Zoom.
no, since we're back on the fancy
Yeah.
on the StreamYard. Yeah, so let me know what advert you get. I hope it's nothing too terrible. We will be back soon. We're back. So, next up from Maggie. What's the weirdest, most suspicious combination you've ever bought in a shop? And second part of this, which can answer or not, aside from the obvious cucumber and condoms, what's made you feel utter shame and embarrassment? Don't know if Maggie's telling us something she's not told us before there, but anyway, we'll move on. Sam, you were saying you're a basket watcher in the supermarket.
Oh God, I think I said on Twitter there was I saw a guy buying like 16 cans of cider and salad cream, and I just wondered what his night was going to be like.
Oh,
And-
I've just seen a video doing the rounds of some fella smearing himself in mayonnaise. Have you seen it?
oh no.
Yeah, I
Oh,
have. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just
it's
saw.
it's horrible.
Mm,
Maybe he was in for that kind of night. Who knows? Hope not, because it was grim.
yeah, no.
Yeah, it's always the combo with alcohol. It's always often I see like alcohol and condiments. Or it'll be the most basic cheese and tomato pizza ever and like a liter of vodka.
It's
And you
when the
just
alcohol outweighs the food chop, isn't it?
yeah.
Mm,
It's when it's like, okay,
And yeah, I did actually someone pushed past me in a supermarket and I just dickhead because it's really annoying when you're in a queue and someone pushed past you. But then I noticed in his basket he had 2 massive jars of coffee, infant Orajel and Calpol. And I just play on,
oh,
like play
yeah.
on.
you do you, mate.
Yeah, that's teething, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
a nasty one. You crack on. During COVID, I noticed there was someone buying all the mouse poison, like 5 boxes of it in Asda, and that can't have been for a straightforward reason. That
No.
no one's got 5 boxes of mouses.
Feels like an exit strategy, doesn't it?
Yeah,
To a
exactly.
degree. Lauren?
I, do you know what? I haven't really. I can't really think of a time when I've bought like an interesting or weird combination. I'm sure I have. I mean, I've done that thing where you fill the trolley up with all the healthy food you can buy, and then just gone mad in like the sweet section and bought a loads of like cans of Coke or whatever it might be. But Yeah, no, I think I need to take a leaf out of Sam's book and basket watch a bit more because this sounds like an interesting thing you could do whilst shopping. Just have a
Yeah.
little look and see what such and such has got. I thought there was some cracking replies, by the way, to this
Yeah,
question.
so Lee said a box of tampons and a bottle of tomato sauce for an ex. Okay. Was there any more? Was there any more replies to that one?
I'm
You know,
sure there was a couple more, wasn't
there was a
there?
couple more to the next one about the
Or
weirdest place you've slept.
maybe I'm getting mixed up then.
I
But yeah,
think
no, I'm definitely going to play that game more
my one,
often.
if anyone was basket watching me when I did this shop, they would have thought I was a single gay man living on his own. It was a bottle of white wine and two boxes of cat food.
Oh yeah.
That's the shopping basket of a very gay man, that isn't it?
Yeah.
Maggie, next question. Also, in honor of the Goodison sleep out tonight, what's the weirdest place you've ever fallen asleep? I'll read these ones out. Mark said Goodison. Fair. During the
Mhm.
game, possibly Sam Allardyce years.
Yeah.
Z-Tech Zombie, Birkenhead on my old doorstep. I passed out pissed as he while sitting down and having a wee. Sit down wee outside, quite the luxury. Woke up with my chap on
Well,
full.
some of us can only have sit down wees outside.
This is true. It is nice to have the option, I've got to say.
It
Woke up with
is.
his chap on full display out of his jean zip, looking like Mr. Snuffleupagus. Blue Goblin 3 said in bed with Stalin's ear. That's at Stalin's ear, not Stalin's ear.
Mm.
And Lee said he once fell asleep at Lime Street after a bit of a late night session with work. Woke up thinking some bastards had put me on a train to another city, then turned round to see the Lime Street station sign. When he stood up, realised the floor was cold and some prick had nicked his shoes.
Ah,
That's
heavy.
horrible,
I've
that.
done something very similar to that. I was on the train back to Lime Street. I think I've been on an away day somewhere, and I think I've been to we been in Preston maybe, and we come back via Preston. It must have been anyway. Whatever we'd done, I got the train back. I'd fallen asleep, and I don't know if anyone's ever done this, but it was on the old Northern Rail trains, like the pre. I mean, I know they're still not the greatest trains, the Northern Rail ones, but it was on like the one of the really old rickety ones, and I must have fell asleep at like Wigan or somewhere, and I woke up, and it really throws you if you've ever done it. I just woke up on the train all by myself, and it took me a good minute to get figure out where it was, but it was quite dark, and I had no clue what the time was. I had no clue if I'd been there all night or if I'd been there just half an hour, whatever it was. So I panicked and I got up and I thought, oh no, I hope the train doors are not locked. So I pressed the button and luckily it opened. Oh God, thank God for that. Took my phone out, had a look, and it was still only like quarter to 12, something like that. But really freaked me out that I was the only one left on the train. And no one thought just to give me a little nudge and say, come on, mate,
Yeah.
you're here now, or whatever. So that
Mm.
was, yeah, that the thought, because you know that thing goes through your head. I'm gonna have to spend the night on the train here. Gonna just have to sleep and keep warm, and it's yeah, not very pleasant. It does freak you out.
Yeah. I think I said before as well, King's Cross McDonald's after I missed the coach to Lille. That's my worst one. Awful, awful scene. If you're ever knocking about King's Cross about 2 in the morning, which you might be for any number of reasons, don't go into the McDonald's because it's the weirdest place on earth. It's
King's Cross at that time of night is
yeah,
just there's a very weird atmosphere around that part of central London in
yeah.
the middle of the night.
The lads from the Star Wars bar would go into King's Cross
Mm,
McDonald's at 2 a.m. and think, fuck me, this is rough. So yeah,
yeah.
wouldn't recommend. Sam?
There was actually I was once in a Mackey's not far from King's Cross. It was somewhere up Euston Road. And I needed to charge my phone. And I don't know if you've noticed, it's not so bad anymore because we've all got power banks and stuff, but it's really hard to charge your phone up by Euston. And it was really late at night, and I needed just somewhere to get enough charge to get an Uber. That was all I needed. And the only plug point that I could use was next to a table. And there was a guy face down on that table in a pool of his own vomit.
Oh God.
So I had to just sit there just for long enough to order the Uber to arrive and just
Oh, that's horrible.
in someone else's sick. It was terrible. Do you remember during the Euros there was a bloke who woke up in Schalke's ground the next day?
No?
Yes, I do remember this. He took picture, didn't he? And it went viral, or he took Snapchat, and he were like,
Yeah,
how's no one found me?"
yeah. The next day he woke up and started streaming from streaming from there.
Did he just fall asleep in his seat and just never got moved?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah.
My steward's walking out, it's all right, he'll turn the lights out, it's fine. Weird.
Yeah. How do you not get found or yeah?
Yeah.
Because it's the only time I did it, I was on a train back from Edinburgh and I was coming back from the festival. And you're just a husk when you leave the Edinburgh Festival. And you don't realise how little you've got left in your tank until you nod off on the train. Anyway, I missed my connection, woke up in the middle of the night in Leeds. And it was a case of, oh, I've got to stay on the platform all night now because no trains till the morning. And the warmest place I could find was to go into the paid toilet. And just sort of squat in there. But fortunately, there was another girl about my age who exactly the same thing had happened to, and I happened to have a bottle of port in my bag for some reason.
Emergency ale for the way home.
Yeah, exactly. But so yeah, I ended up sharing a bottle of port overnight in the Leeds train station box with this girl, and it was actually surprisingly tolerable.
Yeah.
Considering, like, when I woke up and I just didn't know where I was or just which way was up, I thought this is going to be the worst night of my life. And it actually, surprisingly, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I think you got away with that one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Sounds all right. Yeah, bonded over a bottle of port in Leeds toilets. Can't happen to many people. You'll never sing that.
You'll never sing that, exactly.
Laura, in honor of this exchange I had last night with Gunther Steiner.
She says, this is really weird. What's the largest animal you could single-handedly cling film to a lamppost?
So she's asked, what's the weirdest exchange you've had with a celebrity?
Oh wow.
Mine's still and will always be getting a lift from Elland Road into Leeds City Centre by Chris Kamara. Definitely.
Oh wow, I never knew that.
Yeah. So we used to do football stats, and Nationwide used to sponsor our football stats panels we did for newspapers. And we got a corporate one, like in a tent outside Elland Road, and all the ex-footballers were in there. And I was on Chris Kamara's table. I think it was made up because I was sat talking to his wife for most of the night while he just like buggered off and spoke with all the other footballers. So then me and my boss at the time were stood in the car park. We can't get a taxi. We're in Elland Road, miles away from the city centre. And I just heard this shout from across the car park, Les, do you need a lift? And I looked down, and Chris Kamara's just like stood there by his Range Rover going, "Come on, I'll take you into town." What a fella. Yeah.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
and it's a surprisingly convenient lift, but for who, Chris Kamara?
Oh, do you know what? I'm one of them. Like if I see someone like I mean, I don't see that many famous people milling about or see celebrities or whatever. But I'm one of them. If I do happen to catch one, I tend to just leave them alone because I just think they must get it like all the time. And I just think if that was me, although I'd like to think I'd be quite personable, I think it becomes a point, doesn't it, where you just like I just want to go. Like for instance, if I get into work and I'm getting into work at the same time as someone else, I'll sit in the car just for a little bit longer because I'll think, well, I haven't got to engage in conversation first thing in the morning. I can just chill out for a little bit until I get in and settled. And I think that with celebs, they must think, oh, I've got to be personable, but I don't really want to be. I just want to be left alone. So I always tend to leave them alone. But I do remember it was only for about 5 minutes or so. I was in a hotel it must have been in London. I think it was in London. I can't remember the reason why staying over. It might have been for the match, staying for an away game or something. And Sue Pollard was absolutely bladdered at the bar to the point where she was like just overly friendly. And it was quiet. There wasn't hardly anyone there because it was a midweek, but she must have been doing a show or whatever or something. But it was just funny when you see someone who you recognise, I didn't actually know who it was, but when you go, I reckon that's someone, and then it clicked, Sue Pollard. And yeah, just very friendly, very overly friendly. And have a good night too. See you later. But yeah, that was funny. Random, but very funny as well.
Oh,
yeah.
That just made me think another one. I was at some marketing awards nonsense do and got so drunk I fell over on the dance floor and couldn't get up. It was the weirdest feeling. It was like a beat on its back. I was on my back like that. I was like, I can't get up. I can't stand up. And I couldn't. And then someone like dragged me up It was the DJ. He jumped down off the DJ thing to pick me up, and it was Clint Boone. It was like, my God,
No way.
this could be the greatest night of my life. Yeah.
The
Sam,
only
you
one I
running?
can, yeah, the only one I can think of is I like, because I live quite close to the city centre in Manchester. I'd been to the Tesco in town on a Saturday morning, and I was carrying 2 bags back, and I'd overfaced myself, so I wasn't really looking where I was going, and I just went banged into someone, dropped one of my bags. Oh, fucking hell! But then I just sort of looked up, and it was Roberto Mancini.
Oh wow.
Was he looking and smelling immaculate?
He was looking immaculate, actually.
Yeah.
He did look. He looked extremely well preened.
Yeah.
But he must have been. Yeah, he must have been. I can't think who he'll have been with at the time, but he must have been in the Radisson in town that they'll stay in before, or they'll stay in on a match day or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was really, really odd.
Did he help you with
It's
your bags?
no,
No.
no.
Just
I think he's above all that.
good at that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, he didn't acknowledge me at all,
Oh, right.
actually.
Oh, that kind of works, maybe. I don't know. Ed, pick a world record that you think you could have a go at breaking, even if you're actually being overconfident / naive. You did actually send us a link to the Guinness World record holders. So I went straight in for the oldest fitness instructor.
Nice.
Oldest fitness instructor going strong at 81. I'm not gonna stop just because I'm old, he says. I reckon. I mean, yeah, got a few years left, but I'm gonna go for that one.
We were looking
If
at
I
doing.
make if I make 82, who knows?
We were looking at school with the kids to do like try and break a world record, like the most, like everyone doing a line dance or something on the school fields or whatever, like get the whole school doing it.
I'm
But
glad you threw
apparently,
dance in there then.
like the what? Sorry.
I'm glad you threw dancing quickly there.
Yeah, yeah. I've made a faux pas before. I'm talking about my job, so I thought I'll be very careful what I say on this show. No, but we were looking at it, like doing. Like even if it was something like the Macarena, doing
Yeah.
something like that. But apparently there's like schools and places and people who've done it where there's like 80,000 people doing it at the same time in a site. So, but we've looked into it, but I don't know. Not so much a world record, but I am the best in the world. I've said this on the show before as well, of flushing the toilet and weeing and finishing my wee before the flush finishes. I'm the best in the world at that. No one will
Tried
beat
that.
me. Yeah.
Right, I've
It's
had two
hard. It is difficult.
I've
I'm
had
the
two
best
glasses
at
of
it.
wine and a can. I'm trying that as soon as this show finishes.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone's glad to hear. Sam? Oh, you're on mute. It's like
Sorry.
a work call.
Nothing from my side, thanks. No, there was I clicked the link, and there was a guy who ate a Big Mac every day, and I'd go so far as to say I could double that.
Yeah. It doesn't seem that impressive, does it?
No, I think he just did it for a long time. There's a quote from him on it. Did I ever think of having my last Big Mac? Yes, when I'm on my deathbed and my son gets me a Big Mac for me as one for the road. Being a Guinness World Record holder is both flattering and humbling to me. It took 25 years to recognize my record, and now it could be one of the longest continuous records ever. Now, after more than 50 years of eating the same meal
Wow.
every
Holy
day,
shit, okay.
I ask myself, where did the time go? Well, you might well ask.
Oh,
But
no,
yeah,
couldn't
I
do
think
that.
you could. I don't know. It's whether you get sick of it or whether you get addicted to it. Because, like,
Yeah.
Like
you
you'd have
know,
withdrawals if you missed a day of Big
yeah,
Mac.
exactly.
I'd
Yeah.
forget. I'd definitely forget.
Yeah, you'd have to have it
Who's
on.
logging this as well, by the way? He could just be saying, has he got receipt?
Yeah.
What he seems like the sort to keep a receipt, doesn't
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd have to be
it?
that.
Just,
It
yeah.
doesn't see, it doesn't seem like they.
Maybe
There's personality issues there.
maybe a simple cholesterol test would prove it. Stephen, what's the most you've celebrated someone else's failure? That fella missing a Big Mac would have been a big one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, what, Anthony Gordon's penalty miss?
I mean, yeah, yeah, there
I mean,
was
that's
that.
up there, isn't it?
I always go back to Arsenal beating Liverpool in '89.
Mm.
Wasn't celebrating Arsenal's victory by any stretch. I was just really, really like everyone else celebrating Liverpool's like misery and failure.
They are, I mean, you don't like to see anyone fail unless they are just horrible. Like, for instance, if Trump, for instance, loses the election, then people will celebrate and things like that. But they tend to be more sporting, don't they? Like a real sport and failure of someone you don't like or a team you don't like. But I do remember we were talking only the other day about the Watford Leicester playoff game, the Deeney goal.
Mhm.
And we were we were playing that day. I think we'd had an evening kickoff or a 3 o'clock kick, whatever it was. And they were playing. And I remember when who was the Leicester player who dived and got the pen?
Oh,
He was one of them journeyman, half decent Leicester players. Oh God, who was it? People are screaming at the thing now, saying who it is, his name. Anyway, when he dived to get in the box and he got the penalty, everyone in the pub was like, I hope he misses it. Hope he misses it. Come. And then when he missed, everyone was going, wait. And then obviously Deeney scores the winner at the end. And that's probably the most I've celebrated, one of the most I've celebrated where it was an Everton goal.
was that
But yeah,
Anthony Knockhart?
Knockhart, that's it. Well done, Sam.
Good
Knockhart,
work.
yeah. Well played. That was just one of them names that just escaped me. Yeah, that was good. That was good to see them in that split, like half a minute, go from being hated and vilified to then, you've lost.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Ah,
That was
yeah.
good.
I do
Instant
think.
karma.
Oh yeah, I do. I do remember once saw like a South Asian grandma. You know when they're turning chapatis by hand,
Mm.
and there was a really overconfident white dude there, and she was like, "No, don't you try this because you need asbestos fingers." And that was just that you could see that did something to him, and he just went straight in and tried it, and you could tell he was in agony with it. Just pulled his hand.
Good.
But you really do like you need Asian Nana's fingers to turn chapatis by hand. You can't, but just he was the kind of bloke. Just telling him that
Yeah.
will have made him. It will have ensured that he absolutely did it. Went straight and did it.
We were all the Asian nana at that point, weren't we?
Very much so.
100%. One other I've just thought of, Steven Gerrard being a shit football manager. I was very concerned we were going to be stuck with him for years, but thankfully not.
Is he still in Saudi?
As far as I know, I've not heard that he's not.
Yeah, he is. He is. Yeah, he is, isn't he? Making a success of it over there, in that brilliant league. Well, while we're on the subject of Gerrard, I mean, the slip,
Yeah.
that was just, a week after he'd said this does not slip. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just amazing, isn't it?
It was
Fantastic.
it was about 45 minutes after he said it, wasn't it?
No, he said it after
No,
the,
he
what
said
was
at the end of the last
He
game.
said it
Oh,
after
was it?
when they
Oh, I've
was
always
it
thought that was the
City?
start of that
City
game.
when no, it was either City or Norwich who they
Okay.
beat,
And
and he got them all in the huddles, didn't he?
yeah, it was only that it was only caught on mic by accident, really.
Yeah.
That the camera sort of went into the huddle. This does not slip now, and
Amazing.
That will always be poetic justice at its very best.
Yeah.
Couldn't happen to a nicer fella.
In unrelated news, I also found out last week that Pancake's an actual fella, but we won't go into any more into that. But apparently he is. I didn't know. I thought it was just an.
I don't know why you're going off on a tangent like that for no reason.
It just came to me. I don't know why. I think it could be something to do with my teas nearly ready soon.
Yeah.
Gary, if you were a hurricane, what's the first thing you would look to destroy? I mean, it's not hard, this one, is it?
It's no, it's not. I mean, very topical. It's Conservative Party HQ.
Yeah,
That'd work.
Westminster.
Sorry, we're not allowed to go into politics on this show, are we? Come on, sorry.
I'd touch down on Westminster, then leap, touch down on Anfield. Not the area, just the stadium, and then get off.
Yeah.
Job's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they are always saying about the wind, aren't they?
Exactly.
So
Yeah, they are.
And last one from Mike, and I do have an answer to this. How many eggs is too many?
Have we
Any
got any
eggs is
context
too
to
many
this?
for me.
Any eggs? Oh, hang on. What's this, Sam?
I have gone right off eggs since everyone started being perverts about them.
What?
Like, not everything needs an egg on top of it. I used to be an egg neutral, and now people are putting eggs on everything. I don't think it's necessary.
Like the idea of being egg neutral.
Yeah, it's pretty egg
Title of the
neutral.
show. Egg neutral.
But
Yeah, it
like
is. I know what you mean.
on like Instagram and everything, people just everyone like
Oh,
I don't think a bowl of ramen even needs an egg on top of it.
I do like an egg in that though.
No,
It's nice. It
not
doesn't
for
need
me.
it. I think it's a nice accompaniment. The thing that annoys me on Instagram with the food is when people make ridiculously big stuff. It's like, why? What's the point of that? It's too big. You can't eat it.
Yeah,
Like
no, yeah,
massive,
no,
massive burgers about that big. Why are you doing that?
Yeah,
that's
ridiculous.
something I don't think a burger ever needs an egg.
Burger doesn't need an egg. I'll
No.
agree with you on that.
No, it
You don't
doesn't.
need a fried egg or an egg on a burger.
Definitely not.
No.
When you get special fried rice, I always think the egg's a bit needless on that as well.
Oh, maybe. Hmm.
Special fried rice from the chippy, you get your char siu pork, you get your
Yeah,
chicken,
I could
prawns,
live
and
without
they lash
it.
a fried egg on for no particular reason, as far as I
I
can
could
see.
live without that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do without that. I mean, I'm an egg fan.
Big
I
egg
do
fan
like
here
egg.
as well.
Yeah, I like eggs, but I mean, if you're talking about eating eggs back to back, 4 will do me and I'm done. I don't think I need more than 4. If I want to store them in my house, I don't need more than 8. I don't think.
2
Like,
is optimal for an omelette.
yeah,
3
I
is
think.
too
Really?
much. I think so. I think 3 makes your omelette a little bit too big and heavy.
Mm,
Well, this is
2's
my
about.
trouble. I think what really turned me is I made a omelette too big, and you just get the ick sometimes with the
Yeah.
food, and
Yeah.
that combined with just the flurry of eggs on social platforms has completely turned me against the concept.
So the actual answer to this question as well is 12.
Doesn't.
So, has anyone seen Regular Show? I
No.
mention it quite often, and no one seems to have watched it. Seems to be one of the things that me and the kids have watched, and that's it. No one else has. But basically, there's an episode. It's like a surreal cartoon. It's dead good. It's an episode in this where they do the excellent challenge, and it's an all-you-can-eat thing, but you've got to eat this 12 egg omelette, and it nearly kills one of the characters. But
Oh,
it's basically like every episode's like an 80s buddy movie. So it has like a little montage of like doing stuff to like save the episode and stuff. The end of this one sort of turns into Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, I think, where he's got to pick the right thing, the right. No, it's not. Is it the Last Crusade with the goblet? He's got to pick the right one. Goes into that anyway, and it's yeah, it's a mega episode. But 12, it's a 12 egg omelet, and that's too many. That's the answer, I think.
I mean,
okay.
that
So,
is too many eggs. Yeah,
It
I'm
is.
not
we're
going to
all
argue
going.
with you.
Yeah.
Me and you, Les, because Sam won't do this. Me and you are going off after this show. Now I'm going to try and do a 12 egg omelette for our tea. Is that right?
12 egg omelette, then I'm going to go for a burst and try and beat the flush.
Yeah. You won't
Live
do it
stream
first
it
time. You
or
won't do it
record
first
yourself.
time.
Record yourselves doing it, not the
Absolutely.
pissing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not in a way that'll get us arrested or
yeah.
record it.
I
Yeah.
mean, you don't want to see anyone's peeing face either, though. Because we'll have
For
to
the
Just
wait.
benefit of those
audio
on
is
YouTube,
absolutely fine.
What's
for the
that?
benefit of those on YouTube, what is yours, by the way? Do you want to give us a little?
I think that's a good place to leave this week's mailbag. Thanks to Warren, thanks to Sam, thanks to everyone who sent questions in. Enjoy the Everton free weekend, but as ever,
Yeah.
up the toffees, and we'll catch you next time.